Welcome to the Fruitful Fertility Co. podcast, your holistic, faith-filled, no-fluff guide to getting pregnant naturally. I'm your host and TTC BFF, Tori Black, here to pull you out of your weariness and cheer you into God's calling to be a mother, all while giving you the simple, bite-sized steps to improve your fertility. Let's trade stress and overwhelm for hope, because girl, you look fertile to me. Today, I wanted to dive into the 5 most common issues I see with my fertility clients because these tend to be overlooked or misunderstood in the regular fertility space, and also because if you are listening and you're experiencing any of these symptoms or if any of this sounds familiar, it gives you something to focus on and start with. So I'm going to go over all 5, lean in, take notes if you need to, and at the end, I'm going to tell you how you can get all of these resolved in one sitting. But before I do dive into these 5 things, I want to remind you that we have a free live workshop coming up. I have not done one of these in over a year, so I'm really excited to hang out with you guys in person. It's going to be a 1-hour live workshop with me going over how to overcome unexplained infertility, what hidden issues you might be missing, like some of the things we're talking about here, what might be going on, how it's affecting your minerals, how minerals impact hormones and fertility. I'm going to introduce the new 90-day mineral method and announce my Black Friday special, which is just an insane Black Friday special, and I'm really excited about it. So I want you to be there. It's completely free. All you have to do is use the link in the show notes to sign up. There will not be a recorded version of this. This is like live. You're in here with me. We're going to have Q&A time where you can ask any questions that you have. And so anytime I have a space like this where you guys get to ask questions, sometimes they can be personal. I just like to keep that just for us and not record it and not share it. So there will be a recorded version later, but it will not be of this live event. So make sure to make time to be there in person. I scheduled it for around the lunchtime hour so you can take your lunch break. You can grab your sandwich, tune in, and we can hang out. The link is in the show notes to sign up for that. Okay. Let's dive into these 5 common issues that I see quite often. Number 1 is heavy metals. So on the HTMA test, there's a section that says toxic elements, and that section shows me what heavy metals are present in your body. And I typically see heavy metals like arsenic, aluminum, things like that, cadmium, in clients who are using well water or they're not filtering your water. So this is something that's really easy to fix essentially, because all you have to do is get some filters. You can get water testing strips off Amazon. You can check your water where you live on the EWG water base. I think it's ewgwaterbase.com.org. I'm not sure. You can type in EWG water base and it'll come up. But it'll show you what is in your water, and it will blow your mind if you see what is actually running through the water that we are drinking with, or drinking, eating with, cooking in, brushing our teeth in. So grabbing some filters can go a really, really long way. And so it seems really simple, but the thing is, if our body is prioritizing getting rid of these heavy metals all the time, that is producing stress within our body, so our body is reacting to it. And also it's working overtime, burning through minerals to do that, and the impact of the metals themselves are causing issues. So if you are on well water, get some filters. If you are on city water, get some filters. Number 2 is adrenal burnout, and typically I see this in what is called a low NAK ratio. So this is probably what I see. This probably should have been number 1, but the heavy metals can cause adrenal burnout themselves. So what happens with adrenal burnout is that you might experience symptoms like crashing really hard mid-afternoon. You feel anxious or on edge all the time, even if there's really no reason to. You crave sugar, caffeine, or salt. You have that tired but wired feeling, like you want to go to bed, but then you can't go to sleep, that kind of feeling. And this is truly just exactly what it sounds like. It is a burnout pattern. So your body has been in fight or flight mode for so long that your adrenals have been pumping out cortisol and adrenaline for that fight or flight to help you stay in that fight or flight. And now your adrenals are like burnt out because they have been pumping out what you need for so long that they are just tired and giving out. So that is what is causing those symptoms and those side effects. And we also call this low NAK ratio, or the NAK ratio specifically, your vitality ratio. And so if you have low vitality, it's going to be hard for your body to prioritize conception because that takes a lot of energy. That takes a lot of minerals. So if it's already burnt out and already low on minerals, it's not going to have the energy to sustain a pregnancy. Something really easy I have my clients do if they are in this pattern or in this adrenal burnout stage, I have them drink adrenal cocktails. And you can Google this or chat GPT it. Super, super simple. I have so many clients that say they feel so much better just incorporating adrenal cocktails, but it's really just a potassium source, a vitamin C source, and a sodium source. So for me, typically what I do is I buy coconut water because that's my potassium source, orange juice. I like Matt's organic orange juice. It is the best orange juice. It's worth the money. It's a little high for orange juice. My husband was like, this orange juice was $7. I'm like, I know, but it's really good. So I do basically like half a cup of coconut water, half a cup of orange juice, and sprinkle a little Himalayan pink salt on it. And that's an adrenal cocktail. But you can look up lots of different recipes. There's also this one called Minerals and Chill. I have never bought them, but I see them pop up on my feed all the time. That you can, like if it's on the go, if you're at work and you need to make an adrenal cocktail, it's kind of like an electrolyte packet, but an adrenal cocktail packet. Minerals and Chill is what it's called. But this is super easy, super, super, super easy to incorporate, right? Like just drinking a little orange juice and coconut water, it can't get easier than that. I like to drink mine about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3, 4. Sometimes I like to have it as like my fun drink in the evening, especially if you're trying to cut out alcohol, if that's like a habit you've fallen into, then an adrenal cocktail can be your cocktail in the evening. Moving to number 3, this one is iodine deficiency markers, which just means that your body is showing that maybe it doesn't have enough iodine to support certain processes, and specifically the thyroid. So iodine is really needed for the thyroid to make that T3 and T4, and this iodine and thyroid health really impacts ovulation. So it supports healthy ovulation. It supports a healthy uterine lining. It helps clear out, excess estrogen and those xenoestrogens we get from endocrine disruptors. So it plays a really important role. So if we don't have quite enough iodine, then our thyroid is struggling. And why are we iodine deficient? Really because our soils are depleted. We're not getting it in any big source like we used to. We're definitely not getting it from anything grown in the ground with these soils that are depleted. You can get iodine from seafood. You can get it from kelp, which is typically what I do with my clients. If we do an HTMA, see that they're iodine deficient, we then go to a Vicon blend that is made specifically for them, and we include a kelp powder. But these kelp supplements really need to be from a trusted high quality source because they are not all created equal. But we can see iodine deficiency from chronic stress. So again, you have to remember that all these things are kind of tied to each other. Sometimes it really is like what came first, the chicken or the egg, because iodine deficiency could be from adrenal burnout. Adrenal burnout could be from heavy metals. So you can kind of see how they all play together. But the chronic stress is a big one. Also things like fluoride and chlorine. Now, you would have to find someone that is way smarter than I am, way more scientific I am to explain this one. But to my understanding, chemicals like fluoride can make it hard for the body to use iodine or absorb iodine. And so it's kind of blocking the iodine. Same for chlorine and I think bromide. So you have to think if we're using a fluoride toothpaste every day, then that is like blocking that iodine every single day. And if you are a conspiracy theorist... I don't know all about this, but I have heard that, there's fluoride in everything, right? Our toothpaste, our water, because it's making us sick. This is a perfect example, and making us more reliant on modern medicine and, health insurance and medication. So if you're like a government conspiracy theorist, this kind of goes along with that a little bit. But iodine deficiency markers. I see this a lot. So if you are someone who has low thyroid function or Hashimoto's, this could be true for you. And we can't just blindly supplement with iodine. You do need to do this under the care of a practitioner who knows what they are doing. But that iodine support can be really impactful. Number 4 is trauma. So when we experience trauma, even if it was in our childhood, so sometimes it's not recent trauma and it's not necessarily the trauma of trying to get pregnant. It is something that has happened in our life previously, and we have not processed it, so we're holding it in our body, and what that does is keeps our body in that survival mode and keeps our body in fight or flight, which again, right, let's tie it all back together yet again, adrenal burnout, right? So that we have that low NAK ratio, we have this mineral depletion because our body is staying in survival mode from this trauma we have not processed. So while this is like is a much bigger thing, right? This is not as easy as drinking an adrenal cocktail or putting a filter on your shower. This is much bigger because this does require some inner work, possibly seeing a counselor, which if you did not listen to last week's episode, Dina Previty came on. She's a biblical counselor. She sees patients virtually. I highly recommend her. That episode was so good that we did last week. Please go back and listen to that if you have not. But you may need to work with someone that can help pull this out of you, help you process it. Because if it's something that did happen in your childhood, it's something that you've been stuffing away for a long time and kind of building habits and safety mechanisms around your entire life. And that cannot easily be done unless you have someone to help pull these things out of you. I've mentioned this before, but a perfect example, I was working with a life coach at one time, and I was talking about how I just thought I was lazy. I was like, I just feel like I'm a lazy person. And she had to pull this out of me of like, okay, well, you're not actually lazy. So what makes you think that? And we went back into things in my childhood for why I would think that about myself. And things I would have never in a million years put together without someone saying, you know what, I know who you are. I know that's not true. Let's see why you feel that way and connect it to where that came from so that we can undo it, right? So now I don't have that mentality. I mean, every now and then, don't get me wrong. Every now and then I do have that issue where if I'm sitting, I have trouble resting because I feel like I should be up doing something. But I am so much better than I used to be. And I feel like I would still be stuck in that rut if I did not get professional help in that way. So again, that is trauma. And this can be trauma, emotional trauma, physical trauma. Trauma covers all aspects, right? So what is it that you need to move forward and to help your body feel safe enough to conceive? And last, but most certainly not least, is low blood sugar. I see low blood sugar more often than not in my clients, and it's because they're not eating enough calories. So I can say low blood sugar / not eating enough calories. And what happens is when we're not taking in enough calories and our blood sugars are low and imbalanced, our body sees that as what? Stress. That's right. It sees it as stress, which burns through minerals. And there's a lot of science between minerals and blood sugar in itself, but our body sees it as stress where we're burning through minerals. It's playing into that adrenal burnout. We don't have the fuel. We don't have the protein we need to create healthy hormones and healthy hormone balance. So again, you can see how it's all interconnected. It's not usually one thing. It's that everybody has one thing they can prioritize, but it's that one thing is connected to a lot of other things. So if you are someone, and it's going to be hard to know if you're dealing with low blood sugar unless you're like truly hypoglycemic or diabetic or something, but don't skip breakfast. That is my number one tip. You've heard it before if you've been listening, and you'll hear it again and again, but do not skip breakfast because that will bottom out your blood sugar right off the bat. And then the first thing you dump on your stomach is sugary coffee, and then it skyrockets. And you're not eating, so you're not eating calories. So that is my tip there. If you need better blood sugar balance, just start with eating breakfast. If you are listening to these and you're like, oh, I checked more than one box, or I don't know if I check any of these boxes, but I would like to know, the perfect way to find out is HTMA testing. I'm going to talk about this again at the free workshop that's coming up November 4th, but I'll also have a link in the show notes with more information about how you can get started, because HTMA is the magical pill that you're looking for, in my opinion, that gives us so many answers. You're looking for clarity, right? You don't understand why you're not getting pregnant, even though all your labs are normal, and HTMA is the thing that's going to give you that clarity. It's going to tell you if you're dealing with heavy metals. It's going to tell you if you're dealing with adrenal burnout. It's going to tell you if you've got iodine deficiency markers. It's going to tell you if your blood sugars are running wonky. And in some ways, the minerals can also tell us if you're experiencing trauma, even if you don't tell me that. There are mineral patterns for that. There are mineral patterns for resentment and hostility. It's really cool when you see that all these things are connected. And this is why HTMA is so powerful for improving your fertility and helping you finally get pregnant, because we have so many pieces to play with. We have so many things we can work on, and I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by that, because I really do keep it simple and give you priorities and things we're going to start with. But as we work on those priorities, remember everything's interconnected. So as we work on that adrenal burnout, it's going to help your iodine deficiency markers. As we work on your iodine deficiency markers, it's going to help your thyroid feel more supported, which is going to help you ovulate, which is going to help you have more balanced hormones. See, it's all interconnected. And sometimes you just need something to tell you what to focus on. And that's what we're going to do together. You're not going to have to figure it out alone. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you understand your results. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do, and I'm going to hold your hand while you do it. I'm really excited about this new 90-day mineral method program that we're launching, because it's going to give you daily text and voice memo access to me, which is, I love voice memo. I want you to hear my voice. I love text too, but I want you to hear my voice. I want, when you're upset, that you hear that I hear you, that I see you. When you're asking complex questions, I want to be able to talk it out with you so that you truly understand it. I just want to feel like I am there with you. So I'm really, really excited about that. I don't know if everybody else is, but I am. I'm really excited about just this hand holding and doing this together. So not only will you get clarity, not only will you get a plan, but you will get me to hold your hand and walk you through this process. So you don't have to do it by yourself anymore. I'm going to do it with you. Click the link in the show notes for more information, or please, please, please come join us in that workshop on November 4th, and we can hash it out there. You can ask all your questions. I'll plan on seeing you there. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If this episode touched your heart or taught you something, I'd be honored if you share it with a friend who could use the information too. And if you want to be the real MVP, then would you also take 30 seconds to tap those 5 stars at the bottom and leave a written review telling me what you're loving? It lights me up to know this podcast is really helping you. Don't forget, you're super cute and super fertile, so meet me back here next week, and let's keep chatting and learning together.